So today we go with Apple retail analysis. First, we introduce our dataset. We use Apple retail sales dataset, which contains detailed transactional level information on Apple product sales across multiple countries. And the time region of this data set is from 2020 to October 2024. And here are some of our key variables like sale ID, sale date, country, product ID, and so on. Then here's a snapshot of our dataset. And our key methods and analysis are descriptive analytics, time series analysis, geographic comparison, and benchmark-based evaluation. Here are some our research questions, like how does Apple's global sales performance vary across time, regions, and product categories? How do different Apple product categories contribute to total sales, and how does category performance differ across regions and time? And here's the overview of the whole dataset. It summarizes the overall scale of sales, key trends throughout the year, and how revenue is distributed across product categories and regions. We begin with the overall scale of the business. We take 2024 data as an example. In 2024, Apple generated approximately $870 million in sales with about 1 million units sold. The average selling price remains relatively high, which is $862, reflecting Apple's premium positioning while returns remain limited relative to total volume. Overall, those metrics suggest a large-scale operation with stable pricing and controlled return levels. Looking at the trends over the year, we observe different behaviors across key metrics. Sales and quantity show some volatility, with a noticeable decline toward the end of the year, and this is because we only have the data until October 2024. And in contrast, average price remains relatively stable. From a product structure perspective, revenue is highly centered in a few core categories. Desktop and laptop products together account for a substantial share of total sales, while smartphone products also represent a meaningful portion. Smaller categories such as wearables and audio contributes less individually, indicating a long-tail product structure. Geographically, sales are concentrated in a limited number of major markets. The United States stands out as largest contributor, followed by China and Australia, while other countries contribute smaller but still significant shares. This suggests that Apple's global performance is driven by a few key markets rather than evenly distributed across regions. Overall, this overview highlights a business that is large in scale, stable in pricing. These observations motivate a deeper analysis into category level and product level performance, which we explore in the following sections.
So now I will walk through a two-level analytical framework designed to understand Apple retail performance from both a category and a product perspective. The goal is not to analyze a single product, but to demonstrate how this dashboard structure supports scalable, data-driven decision-making. This analysis is built around four key objectives. First, to understand how different products categories contribute to the overall sales. Second, to identify geographic patterns at the category level. Third, to drill down into individual products to assess performance, positioning, and market concentration. And finally, to compare product level performance against category benchmarks. Structurally, the dashboard is organized into layers. A category analysis, which provides a top-down portfolio view, and a product deep dive, which allows us to zoom into specific products when necessary. I'll start with the category analysis dashboard. The dashboard is fully interactive by selecting a category from the filter at the top. All downstream views updates automatically, allowing consistent comparison across categories. On the left side, we see a category level snapshot summarizing total sales revenue, quantity, and average pricing for the selected category. The bar chart compares total sales revenue across all categories. This immediately reveals that Apple retail revenue is highly unevenly distributed. A small number of categories, such as iPads and iPhone, dominate overall revenue, while categories like Apple TV and home accessories contribute relatively less. Importantly, highlighting one category while keeping others visible allows us to judge performance in context, rather than in isolation. The line chart at the right shows category performance over time. By keeping all categories visible, we can distinguish between structural growth and short-term fluctuations, rather than over-interpreting temporary spikes. Moving to the geographic analysis, this section examines where category demand comes from. The map shows category sales distribution across countries, while the ranking charts breaks this down further by countries and cities. Across nearly all categories, the United States consistently emerges as the largest revenue contributor, followed by the markets such as China, Australia, and Japan. However, the relative importance of secondary markets varies by category, which has clear implications for regional prioritization and expansion strategies. Category-level performance can hide significant internal differences. This section decomposes category revenue into individual products. The ranking charts highlights top-performing products, while the tree map shows how evenly or unevenly revenue is distributed within the category. In many categories, revenue is concentrated in a few star products, with long tails of low contributing items. This reveals internal hierarchy and potential cannibalization within the category. Clicking on any product here allows us to navigate directly into the product deep dive analysis. At this point, the limitation of category level analysis becomes clear. Products within the same category can differ dramatically in pricing, volume, and geographic reach. Category analysis helps us with portfolio allocation, but product level analysis is required to understand drivers, positioning, and strategic roles.
Then I will go with product deep dive analysis. On the left, we start with a product level snapshot showing revenue, quantity, and average price. Below, the sales trend over time illustrates how the product performance relative to its own long-term average. The dashed reference line helps identify periods of above or below average performance and assess overall demand stability. The revenue share within category chart tracks how the product's importance evolves relative to its peers, revealing whether it is gaining strategic relevance or being eroded by internal competition. This section mirrors the category level geographic analysis, but at the product level. By comparing country and city rankings, we can distinguish between globally driven products and those reliant on specific regions. For example, some products show diversified global demand, while others depend heavily on a small number of key markets, increasing geographic concentration risk. This scatter plot positions products based on average price and sales volume, with reference lines indicating category averages. The four quadrants help differentiate premium leaders, volume drivers, niche offerings, and underperforming products within the same category. This view emphasizes that strong performance must be interpreted relative to peers, not in absolute terms. To conclude the product analysis, this benchmark view compares the product's revenue, quantity, and price directly against the category averages. When bars extend beyond the reference line, the product outperforms the category average. Falling short indicates relative weakness. This provides a concise, decision-oriented summary of whether a product is a category leader or supporting player. Bringing both dashboards together, several key insights emerge. First, category performance at Apple Retail is highly uneven, with a small number of categories driving the majority of revenue. Second, demand is geographically concentrated, but patterns differ by category and product, highlighting the need for differentiated regional strategies. Third, within category, competition is significant. Revenue is often captured by a few dominant products, while others play marginal or supporting roles. Finally, product level performance must always be interpreted relative to category benchmarks. Absolute metrics alone are insufficient for strategic evaluation. The overarching implication is clear. Apple Retail performance should be managed as an interconnected portfolio across categories, regions, and products rather than as isolated items.
Return claims in 2024 are concentrated in a few key markets, with the United States contributing the highest volume by a wide margin. China and Australia also show relatively high return activity, while most other regions report substantially lower claim levels. In 2024, total repairs reached 126,008 cases, accounting for only 2.2% of total sales from 2022 to 2024. Repair activity in 2024 remains relatively stable throughout the year, with a mild mid-year increase followed by a noticeable decline toward year-end. Repair cases in 2024 are evenly distributed across all statuses, with each stage accounting for roughly 31 to 32,000 cases. In progress slightly exceeds the other categories, suggesting some ongoing workload, while the others remain at similar levels. Apple's repair activity in 2024 is heavily concentrated in iPhone and iPad, which consistently reported the highest repair volumes across all repair statuses. At the model level, a small number of products, most notably HomePod Mini, iPhone 13 Pro Max, and Apple Watch Series 9, account for a disproportionate share of total repairs. The four repair statuses are distributed very evenly in 2024, each accounting for approximately one quarter of total repair cases. Overall, the similarity in geographic patterns, product composition, and volume across statuses suggests that repair issues are driven more by product scale than by inefficiencies in specific stages of the repair process. When filtering to a specific product category and repair status, the dashboard shows that completed iPhone repairs in 2024 total 6,347 cases, accounting for 0.11% of overall sales from 2022 to 2024 and 0.76% of total iPhone sales. Repair activity is geographically concentrated in major markets such as the US and China, and at the model level is driven by a small number of high-volume devices, including the iPhone 13 Pro and iPhone 14 series. By adjusting the filters, users can explore detailed repair patterns across different categories and statuses. The individual product models can be further investigated via direct links to their official product pages. The calendar view highlights clear seasonality in 2024 repair activity, with a pronounced surge in August, followed by the lowest volume in September. By hovering over each month, users can review detailed monthly and daily patterns. For example, May records a total of 12,598 repair cases. Further, hovering over individual days reveals exact daily repair volumes. For instance, August 8, 2024 registers 463 repair cases, illustrating that the August peak is driven by consistently high daily activity rather than a single day spike. Across all 4 repair statuses, the calendar views reveal highly consistent seasonal patterns in 2024. At the daily level, peak months are characterized by sustained high activity over many days rather than isolated spikes, suggesting a structurally higher repair load. Overall, the synchronized patterns across statuses point to a stable and well-balanced repair process even during peak periods. And thanks for listening.